I do this, I'm done. Hey y'all, my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today, and for this video I'm going to be doing my March TBR. Alright, before I get into anything bookish, make sure to hit like and subscribe down below, as well as tell me in the comments, are you reading any manga for March Manga Madness? Manga March Madness? I'm not sure which order the M's go, but I'm planning to read a lot of manga this March. That's my goal. I would love to say I'm going to do a 30 and 30. That feels very ambitious though for my first round of this. However, at the very least, I am going to try and read all of the manga that I currently own. That does include Josh's manga hanging out over here also. I hope to officially finish out Soul Eater with volume 24 and 25. Plus I would also get to continue with Mariko-chan by Tomoki Yozumi with volumes 2 and 3. And then Josh also owns a few other starts of series, including My Hero Academia, Adachi and Shimimura, as well as Sasuke's story. Then I could read Shiver by Junji Ito for my horror bingo TBR, so that would also work great. Like I said, this is my first time partaking in this. I'm gonna be a little ambitious as per usual because it's me, but at the same time I'm trying to be a little realistic by not doing the 30 and 30. However, I will be vlogging it throughout the month, so maybe that'll keep me on top of this goal. We'll see how that goes. As of right now, I do think that's going to be the only sort of readathon that I'm partaking in March, but I do also, as per usual, have a million book clubs that I'm going to be reading for. Starting at the top with my personal book club, which is the Geek Squad that I host over on my Patreon. If you're interested, links for that is going to be in the description down below. But we're going to be reading The Resurrectionist by A. Ray Dunlap. This was voted by my Nerds tier, and this one I think is actually based on a true story of these serial offenders in Britain in the 1800s, I think it was, and I'm pretty sure they also were grave robbers, right? Yes, it brings to life the deliciously macabre adventures of a young medical student lured into the illicit underworld of body snatching. Historical fiction, true crime, and romance intertwine in a harrowing tale of murder, greed, and the grisly origins of modern science. Yeah, this one sounds really interesting. Plus, I mean, when I saw this cover from Aardvark, I couldn't resist requesting it. Then I figured the medical student definitely kind of works with the Geek Squad theme for my book club. So here's hoping we all enjoy this one. Along with that, I also have 2 book clubs that I partake in person. The first one is fantasy based, and for this month we are supposed to be reading a book that is by a woman author. For this one, I think I'm gonna go with Blackheart Man by Nalo Hopkinson. I received this copy from Saga Press, and I've been really excited to get into it. I've not really heard anybody talk about it, but have seen some pretty promising reviews. So our main character is a historian who kind of gets embroiled into this trade agreement that his country is being forced into, but he's hoping this will allow him to make a name for himself. However, things get a little bit more complicated than he's initially anticipating. Not only that, but also children from his village are disappearing, and it seems that the Tar, which has been keeping these like demon armies essentially encased and trapped, are starting to escape, and they're being led by the Blackheart Man. Plus our main character is also having some issues in his personal life with his partners, so there's gonna be a lot of interesting things going on here. But I did remember that there was one line of the synopsis that especially intrigued me. How much trouble can a poor student take or cause all by himself as the line between myth and history blends? Like I said, I haven't really heard anybody talk about this one, meaning I don't have many expectations going into this, which makes me very hopeful that I will enjoy it. I also have my romance book club in person, and this month our prompt is to read a subgenre we don't usually reach for. And this one, I have options. I could possibly go for like a suspense romance, but I'm just not really, I don't know, that's not really standing out to me. And on top of that, I need to be focusing on my own TBR this year, and I wouldn't really say any of these fall under suspense. However, I do have a good few historicals now, and this is still a newer subgenre to me. I only really read a few since my historical romance reading vlog last year. I'll put a link to that in the cards. This could be a perfect opportunity to continue reading more of it and also work on my own TBR. But I also was thinking like sports romance, because I don't read very many of these, even though I currently own a surprising number of them. But when I was just looking at my shelf, especially this one, I realized I've never read an F1 sports romance, so that would be interesting. And actually thinking about it, I don't know if anybody at the club has ever talked about one before either. That could be kind of fun. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure where exactly I'm going with this one just yet, but that's the prompt for this month at the very least. Finally, one I'm really hoping to get to is the Full Moon Book Club pick, which is Don't Let the Forest End by C.G. Drews. I've heard so many positive things from my friend Brie about this book. It is a queer YA horror story in which we're following a character who I think gets like wrapped up in some mystery in the woods. I don't really want to know too much about it. This cover is absolutely stunning. The author has some really fun marketing on their Instagram, and like I said, Brie has been singing its praises for so long now. I really want to read this one. I've been eyeing it on Pango and hoping to use some of my Pango bucks on it. However, I need to get a bingo on my book ban board before I'm allowed to buy it. Fingers crossed that happens here soon and that I actually get around to it this month. So speaking of, the Full Moon Book Club is hosted by Jan Agaton. Love her. She also has a challenge on her Patreon that is the Coffin Covers Challenge, where you've tried to find some object that is on the cover of the book. This month's prompt is beverage, so I'm gonna kind of do two birds, one stone here with my nonfiction pick of the month. She found it at the movies. This is edited by Christina Newland, Women Writers on Sex, Desire, and Cinema. I believe each chapter is done by a different author, and obviously it's talking about female representation of desire and sex in cinema. I'm really interested by this one. I've heard nothing about it actually, but how did this get on my TBR in the first place now that I think about it? Maybe I just like saw it on Goodreads and this sounded very up my alley. Y'all know me. I love feminist themes in my books, but also analyzing media, particularly film and TV shows. Super into that. So this definitely sounds very up my alley. I've really been wanting to get to it. And like I said, this will work perfectly and complete two things this month if I manage to read it. Let's just hope I do. Then I have one book left on my Reddit fantasy bingo board from 2024. And I have 1 month left to read it. So if I do this, I will have officially blacked out the board. And that is An Orc on the Wild Side by Tom Holt, which would be fulfilling the prompt of, I think it's Orcs, Trolls, Goblins, Oh My. If I do this, I'm done. Another one that I've never heard anybody talk about. So apparently this month I'm reading a lot of very unpopular books. However, I picked this one up from half price, not only because it fulfilled the prompt, but because the back definitely made me think of Legends and Lattes, where it's got like very human, realistic mindsets, however, in a fantasy world. And that just seems really fun. So we've got King Mordok, who is more goblin than person, but the point is that he's really keen to be a lot less despicable than his predecessors. Not that the other goblins appreciate his attempts to redefine the role. Why should they when his new healthcare program seems designed to actually extend life expectancy, and his efforts to end a perfectly reasonable war with the dwarves appear to have become an obsession. Like I said, it sounds like it'll be a silly fun time with like very normal, realistic mindset, but in this fantasy world with a goblin main character. I can't wait to see how this goes. I'm really intrigued, and I'm finally gonna get to read it. Finally, of course, I'm still working on my Star Wars canon project, and so I do have 2 more books I'm going to be reading for it this month, starting at the top with Queen's Hope, which will be rounding out the Padme trilogy by E.K. Johnston. And if you watched my most recent episode of the project, you know this author and I didn't get along super well, but I'm still going to finish this trilogy out because I'm a completionist. Oh god. Okay, reading the synopsis of this already is not making me excited. So we are following Padme again. However, this is taking place after she and Anakin have secretly gotten married. Sorry if that's a spoiler to you, but that movie's been out for like 20 plus years now, so I feel like it shouldn't be. Oh, but it is taking place during the Clone Wars. So that's fun. And Padme is fighting her own battle in the Galactic Senate for peace, while Anakin is obviously on the front line. So a little bit of a rocky start to their relationship that, already has to be kept a secret. However, something has happened and Padme needs to leave the planet immediately, so she calls in 𝗖cie to once again play her replacement to ensure that nobody knows Padme has left the Senate. And obviously that is going to be a bit of a challenge for 𝗖cie because she is now going to have to actually act as a politician. So this will be an interesting read, basically. I don't know how this is going to go. but I'm gonna read it, so we'll see. After that one though, I am very excited for Brotherhood by Mike Chen, because obviously, if you can't tell from the cover, we're gonna be focusing on Obi-Wan and Annie. This one looks like it's gonna be super fun. I think Mike Chen is a new author to me at this point, so I am intrigued to see how his writing is for these characters. Hopefully he can stay pretty true to the voice of these characters that's already been established in prior media. That's something I've started to become nervous about when it comes to these books. Oh my god, and I just read a little bit further and Ventress is also involved. She and Obi have some great banter. They have some great back and forth. They also have some great fight scenes. So this is gonna be a really good time. I can't wait for this one. So on that note, that's it for today, y'all. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, leave me the axe emoji in the comments. I have all my socials as well as a few ways you can support me, including my Patreon linked in the description. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!